Now friends, we will discuss about echocardiography. First, transthoracic echocardiography. Transthoracic echocardiography, commonly referred to as echo, is obtained by placing an ultrasound transducer on the chest wall to image the heart structures as a real-time two-dimensional slice. This can be used for rapid evaluation of various aspects of cardiac structure and function. Common indications for echocardiography are shown in box 16.4. These are the common indications for echocardiography: assessment of left ventricular function, diagnosis and quantification of severity of valve disease, identification of vegetations in endocarditis, identification of structural heart disease in atrial fibrillation, cardiomyopathies, or congenital heart disease, detection of pericardial effusion, identification of structural heart disease or intracardiac thrombus in systemic embolism. This is a diagram of echocardiography. Here is we see it transducer, chest wall, there is stenosed aortic valve and turbulent flow. Doppler echocardiography in aortic stenosis. The previous diagram shows the aortic valve is imaged and a Doppler beam passed directly through the left ventricular outflow tract and the aorta into the turbulent flow beyond the stenosed valve. In picture B, showing the velocity of the blood cells is recorded to determine the maximum velocity and hence the pressure gradient across the valve. In this example, the peak velocity is approximately 450 cm per second, 4.5 meter per second, indicating severe aortic stenosis, peak gradient of 81 mm mercury. Now, Doppler echocardiography. Doppler echocardiography provides information on blood flow within the heart and the great vessels. It is based on the Doppler principle that sound waves reflected from moving objects, such as red blood cells, undergo a frequency shift. Doppler echocardiography can therefore detect the speed and direction of blood flow in the heart chambers and great vessels. The greater the frequency shift, the faster the blood is moving. The information can be presented either as a plot of blood velocity against time for a particular point in the heart or as color overlay on a two-dimensional real-time echo picture, color flow Doppler. Doppler echocardiography is useful in the detection of valvular regurgitation, where the direction of blood flow is reversed and turbulence is seen, and is also used to detect pressure gradients across stenosed valves. For example, the normal resting systolic flow velocity across the aortic valve is approximately 1 meter per second. In the presence of aortic stenosis, this is increased as blood accelerates through the narrow orifice. In severe aortic stenosis, the peak aortic velocity may be increased to 5 meter per second. An estimate of the pressure gradient across a valve or lesion is given by the modified Bernoulli equation. Pressure gradient millimeter mercury is equal to 4 into peak velocity in meter per second square. Advanced techniques include three-dimensional echocardiography, intravascular ultrasound, that is IVAS, defines vessel wall abnormalities and guides coronary intervention. Intracardiac ultrasound provides high-resolution images. Tissue Doppler imaging quantifies myocardial contractility and diastolic function, and speckle tracking assesses myocardial motion and strain. This is the echocardiographic illustration of the principal cardiac structures in the four-chamber view. Color flow Doppler has been used to demonstrate mitral regurgitation, a flame-shaped yellow-blue turbulent jet into the left atrium. There is tricuspid valve, right ventricle, right atrium, left ventricle dilated, and mitral valve regurgitation. Now we will discuss about transesophageal echocardiography. Transesophageal echocardiography involves passing an endoscope-like ultrasound probe into the esophagus and upper stomach under light sedation and positioning it behind the left atrium. It is particularly useful for imaging structures such as the left atrial appendage, pulmonary veins, thoracic aorta, and interatrial septum, which may be poorly visualized by transthoracic echocardiography, especially if the patient is overweight or has obstructive airway disease. The high-resolution images that can be obtained makes transesophageal echocardiography particularly valuable for investigating patients with prosthetic, especially mitral valve dysfunction, congenital abnormalities such as atrial septal defects, aortic dissection, infective endocarditis, vegetations that are too small to be detected by transthoracic echocardiography, and systemic embolism, intracardiac thrombus or masses. Now we'll discuss about stress echocardiography. Stress echocardiography is used to investigate patients with suspected coronary artery disease who are unsuitable for exercise stress testing, such as those with mobility problems or pre-existing bundle branch block. A two-dimensional echo is performed before and after infusion of a moderate to high dose of an inotrope, such as dobutamine. Myocardial segments with poor perfusion become ischemic and contract poorly under stress, manifesting as a wall motion abnormality on the scan. Stress echocardiography is sometimes used to examine myocardial viability in patients with impaired left ventricular function. Low-dose dobutamine can induce contraction in hibernating myocardium. Such patients may benefit from bypass surgery or percutaneous coronary intervention. Thank you, friends.